Well, it has definitely been an interesting weekend with the rain, and it seems like we've got some more in the forecast for this week.
We do, but there's going to be some nice weather kind of sandwiched in between, so we'll focus on that at least early in the week. Couple showers tonight, early tomorrow morning. We'll clear out pretty quickly on your Monday. Tuesday, Wednesday look fantastic. Great spring weather. A little chill in the morning, but the afternoons will be quite pleasant. Thursday, watching for some rain. Next Saturday, watching for some storms and perhaps a threat of severe weather. Still a few days to keep an eye on that, so be sure to check back with us for the latest information. Grace, of course, will have an update for you tomorrow morning.
Alrighty, Jeff, thank you. Don't forget, WAAY 31 gives you 24/7 coverage you can count on. Be sure to stick with us. WAAY 31 Law Call is next.
This is WAAY 31 Law Call.
Good evening and welcome to WAAY 31 Law Call. I'm Sharon Doviet. Tonight we're taking your calls and questions about fighting the insurance company. You pay your insurance premium every month or every quarter, and when something happens and you need them, you assume they're going to be there. But you make that claim and suddenly the adjuster is not calling you back, or they're saying they need more paperwork. They need more time, a little more paperwork, a little more time. Whose side is your insurance company on, and what do you do when they're not doing what you think they ought to be doing? Tonight's your chance to call in and ask your questions about fighting the insurance company. The 31 Law Call number, 256-536-0077. You can call in, be live on the air, or you can text us to that same number. We'll be answering some of your text right here. You can also email your questions any day of the week, any legal question. You send it to lawcall@waytv.com. And when we get to a show that's on point, we pull some out. We've got some of your questions tonight about fighting the insurance company. Will Leaks here from Timberlake, League & Brooks. That's what you guys do all the time, right? You deal with insurance companies.
Right. You know, we're happy to hear from you tonight. Be brave. Give us a call. Love to hear about your insurance questions. You know, any facet of insurance we'll talk about tonight. But yes, you know, 95% of the cases we deal with in some form or fashion, they've got an insurance company behind the defendant making the calls, you know, the policy and procedure, the adjusters, and then, you know, can we resolve the claim? Does it have to end up in litigation? And so there are many different tactics that insurance companies use, and I would like to point out they're humans. You know, it's an insurance company. They're human beings that work there, but they take orders from the policies and procedures. When you look at your insurance policy, you notice, you know, pages and pages and pages of exclusions, and that's by design. And only when you need it, when you actually sit down and read those exclusions, you realize how vast they are. And it is by design. It's unfortunate. You pay your premiums, and again, the insurance game is to bring in insurance premiums and to, you know, limit claims. And then the stockholders, the money goes, more money to the stockholders, and that is their job. That is the system that we have. And it's frustrating at times, and unless the legislature enacts laws to protect the consumer, and by the way, consumers are losing more rights than they're gaining in this climate. And so everybody's, hey, I don't need it, you know, I don't believe in claims, I don't believe in all this stuff until you need it. And then once you need it, that's when, you know, you call my firm or a firm similar to mine. And it's frustrating, Sharon, because only when people find out what they need and when they find out it's not covered do they come over to the consumer side and you know.
And can't believe it, right?
Yeah,
Can it be like this?
Blessed are those who believe without seeing, right? But it's just over and over we see it, and we don't want to give out bad news. We want to be straight with our clients, and we have to go by the four corners of the document of the insurance policy.
Yeah.
And oftentimes they're pretty restrictive against the consumer. And we say, read your insurance policy, but let's be honest. You read it, and you're not going to negotiate your way out of it.
No.
And so, sadly, it is what it is, and there's watchdog groups. The Alabama Department of Insurance does a great job, and you can make a complaint to your insurance company. They have to respond to the Alabama Department of Insurance and then determine whether or not they're following their policies and procedures. And if they're not, there's an argument that they can't insure the folks of Alabama. Now, the Department of Insurance is losing power. I was looking up on their website today. The most complained about insurance company is Allstate. And, you know, we fuss with them as well. Okay. You know, Sharon, that's a lot of the cases that we end up in litigation are against Allstate. And I'm not certain we're supposed to say insurance company's name, but I really don't care, you know. But that's the one that we fuss with most.
We invite you to call in your questions, 536-0077, while we get some calls locked in. We want to play tonight's You Make the Law Call video.
This is crazy.
This one's
crazy.
weird. spring break's coming up. A lot of folks going to be traveling, and a little drinking, a little horseplay. This video, okay.
So the guy in the white shirt, he's
elevators are
roughhousing,
supposed to be safe,
and
right?
I don't think you should be doing
Okay.
that. And
How
here
does
we go.
that happen with an elevator?
You know, and then how far do they fall down? So they fall, they fall against the door. And here we go. Let go of me, guy in the white shirt, please. Next thing you know,
They're going to be okay. You're going to see at the end of this that they are okay. They're lucky.
They ended up getting out of there. I mean, they could have fallen 10 stories. They could have both died.
They wind up getting to climb out. Okay, that something seems to be wrong with the elevator to me, that the doors don't even shut like that. I would never imagine you'd be able to push against one of the doors and fall through like that.
Right.
When you're looking at that, okay, if they're drunk and it's horseplay, does that mean that this hotel or the elevator company or whoever, it just gets off the hook?
You know, they're looking at them. They're lucky they're not dead.
Yeah,
right?
they're very lucky.
You know, in looking at it, my first thing is the guy in the white shirt is acting like a clown.
Yep.
They're roughhousing. The guy in the black shirt is involved, but he's being led around by the guy in the the white shirt. And the guy in the white shirt is first and foremost liable because he's the one dragging the guy down, tackles him, pulls him to the ground. Unbeknownst to either of them, there is a problem with the elevator door. Now, if you fall against it, it's not supposed to give like that. But first and foremost, the liability against the guy in the white shirt for causing the issue and roughhousing and bringing the other guy down, right?
Yeah.
There can be combined and concurring negligence. So when you're on someone's premises, they have duty to warn you about any danger they know about or should know about. If it's something that they don't know, they have a duty to inspect. So that could have been, the door could have been in a defective condition, allowing someone to fall through it that easy. But to be fair, the guy in the white shirt's a big boy. I don't know, 250 pounds from just looking, I don't know.
Yeah.
But they fell into it. Is it designed to withstand that kind of punishment? Probably. And when you start talking about falling that far, most liability is against the guy with a white shirt. The hotel may have some liability as well.
Elevator company?
Elevator company, if let's say there was repairs that were
Yeah.
done improperly in the last
Yeah.
few weeks or even months, depending on when it was done. Was it done properly? But again, the door was defective in some way, and there's plenty of blame to go around.
You ever check that last inspected by date when you get in an elevator? Do you
know-
get out though when it's past the deadline? No,
right.
I don't.
Right,
I
that's
don't.
right, that's
We've
right.
got callers waiting. Marie's on the line with a question from Huntsville. Hi, Marie. Thanks for calling. What's your question tonight?
Yes, I filed a claim with the insurance company about my roof leaking
Okay.
and stuff, and the adjuster called from Wyoming on a Saturday and said that he made a adjustment, a claim, and he's going to give me $1,000 on the roof. But he said by law I have to accept that check or debit card.
Huh.
He wanted my debit card and everything, and I wouldn't give it to him.
Good for you. That doesn't
I didn't-
sound right. You ever heard of an adjuster wanting her debit
So
card?
he wanted your debit card number to put money on your card?
Yeah, so they say that's what they do now, do direct deposit on the
That doesn't sound right.
claim
Well,
money.
It's not unheard of. Sometimes they're starting to do a little bit of direct deposit, but again, they'll need your routing number, checking account number. In terms of your debit card, it sounds like he's asking for your checking account number and routing number, but there needs to be paperwork, in conjunction with that to prove what they're doing and when they're putting it in. Now, you do not have to accept that offer. What you do have to do is mitigate your damages. So you said that there's a leak, water may be coming in. You have to do what you can do to mitigate that leak or limit the damage, whether that be put a tarp on that part of the roof, whether it be put a bucket under there and empty the water out for a reasonable amount of time. And then the question is, what's the dollar amount to fix your roof? So I would get several repair estimates, look at those estimates, and if it's, $900,000, great, then you should accept it. But if it's more than that, you do not have to accept it. So the insurance adjuster telling you have to accept that, not right, and I'm surprised they tried to strong arm you like that. Normally they're better than that, to be honest with you. So get some estimates and don't be rushed, but be careful of what information you provide and make sure that it is an adjuster with your particular insurance company.
If she cashes a check, does that mean she's taken it? She's accepted the
If
deal?
if it says full and final settlement on that check, then it is. But if it does not, you may be able to go back and make a claim unless you signed a release.
Okay. Sandra's on the line with a question from Rogersville. Hi, Sandra. Thanks for staying up and watching tonight. What's your question?
Well, we dealt with, I hit a deer head on Highway 72, and I was going 60 miles an hour.
Ooh.
And yeah, and my insurance company totally made us do all of the work. Like they just gave us all the names of the people to call.
Okay.
And from then on, we had to totally take care of everything. And to me, we're paying this guy a lot of money to handle this type of thing. Is that how it's normally supposed to go?
It depends on what insurance company it is, how much staff they have. Did you sign up on just the internet? Do they have a brick and mortar shop here with adjusters in our area? Typically, back in the day, adjuster would come out, evaluate your vehicle, have you take it to the shop, hook you up with a rental car, and then while they're repairing your vehicle, you just go on the rental car. We're seeing with less and less staff, less and less people, because let's face it, human beings are the most expensive for the insurance companies, right? Yep. And so they're limited in the number of staff that they have, and oftentimes they're moving to, hey, we need you to do this, you do that, because again, like I said in the last question, you have a duty to mitigate your damages and help them with that claim. You know, and while technically we would like them to do more, oftentimes it's better for the client to go ahead, suck it up, and get it done, get it to the shop, and then help them as much as they can.
Do you pay for it yourself and expect to be repaid?
Actually,
or?
no.
No.
You should, you know, if you have that type of coverage, usually the insurance company will, you know, pay that bill.
Okay.
And then once they sign off on the estimate and then get your rental car. What if they don't? What is the next step? You know, if they drag their feet, a lot of times I'll tell clients to go ahead and pay for the rental car if you can.
Okay.
Because you got to get to work, you got to take the kids to school, you got to make all those things happen, and if it all falls apart, then it gets even worse. So I would love to say, no, you wait for them to do it, but it may not get done, and then you're in a worse position. So in the real world, do what you can to assist that process, and hopefully you can get your claim taken care of sooner rather than later. And in the end, that's the best cause.
Do you want a brick and mortar shop for your personal coverage? You're not going to buy something off the internet?
Right. You know, if nobody's here to go and see and talk to and sit down with, I've heard horror stories of, I can't get anybody, I'm just clicking on the internet, nobody will call me back, and then what are you going to do?
Yeah.
And so it
Like to
makes
have a
a
real
difference
person.
to have a brick and mortar, someone you can go and sit down face to face with, just like sadly, old school.
Yeah. We're going to take a break. Be right back answering more of your questions about fighting the insurance company. Stay with us.
You're watching WAAY 31 Law Call. Your rights, your calls, live. Presented by the Tennessee Valley's award-winning personal injury and wrongful death law firm, Timberlake, League and Brooks. Featuring the knowledge and experience of Attorney Michael Timberlake, Attorney Will League, Attorney Heath Brooks, Attorney William Maservi, and hosted by broadcaster and family law attorney Sharon Doviet. This is WAAY 31 Law Call.
Welcome back. Tonight we're talking about fighting the insurance company. Will League's here from Timberlake, League and Brooks, and we've got callers waiting. Mildred is on the line with a question from Tanner. Hi, Mildred. Thanks for calling. What's your question tonight?
My question is, there was a wreck. My niece had a wreck August of last year.
Okay, like 2024.
24,
Yeah.
2024,
Okay.
August 2024. It came out to, she said. So I paid for my bill, she paid for her bill. Well, what happened, the other lady filed a claim to get her windshield repaired, who was not involved in the accident. And her agent said he made a mistake. He didn't look at the account number correctly.
Okay.
So I called my agent, and my agent said, I sent a letter to subrogate. I think that's the word she used, subrogate.
Right.
They normally will not pay. That's what she said. They normally will not pay. But I sent it anyway. And I said, since he owned up to making a mistake, shouldn't he automatically put the $500 plus back into my account?
Let me ask you this, Mildred. Let me make sure I got it straight. You're in a wreck with somebody, your car 1, you have a wreck with car 2, and then car 3 makes a claim against you for their windshield?
Car 2, it was my car and her car.
Gotcha.
Car 2 filed a claim to get her windshield repaired.
Against your insurance carrier?
Against my insurance. But my insurance agent said, because this insurance is part of my insurance, you heard of that before?
Yes, ma'am. All right. So,
And she'll send a letter to subrogate. They normally will not pay because her insurance is part of Allstate. I'm sorry, part of my insurance agent. But I said, since he owned up to making a mistake, shouldn't they automatically put it back into my insurance?
Seems like you ought to get your money back.
That seemed reasonable to me. So it's a swearing match, meaning you said he said, she said. Let's assume you both said you had the green light, and nobody can make that determination. In Alabama, there's a contributory negligence law, which means you may not recover. You may not recover if you cannot prove liability. And in Alabama, you can't recover if there's any contributory negligence on your part. So they made a claim against your carrier. Your carrier can pay that claim once they do an assessment, but it sounds like they admitted to making a mistake and they should not have paid it. If they made a mistake, they should immediately put that money back into your account or back into your policy, however they did that. And when you talk about subrogation is basically, let's say you made a claim for your car. Your company paid for that. Then they would go against the other carrier for subrogation to get their money back, and then you would get your deductible back. But in the scenario you're describing, they should not have made that payment. If they made the mistake, they should put it back in. And so you may want to call the Alabama Department of Insurance and see if they can help you in Montgomery and file a claim. But maybe talk to them and give them some time to do it. But if they're refusing, then you may have to take it a step further and go talk to a lawyer.
Get him, Mildred. I don't like that. We've got Barbara on the line with a question from Scottsboro. Hi, Barbara. Thanks for calling. What's your question tonight?
Okay, I was involved in, I was sitting at a red light and an individual run the red light and hit me and totaled my car out.
Ooh.
I went ahead and made the settlement on the amount they give me for my car only.
Okay.
Okay, so they're only giving me a couple days to turn the rental car in. They're not giving me enough time for me to find another car to drive. Are they allowed to do that?
All right, so the law is once they make you what's deemed as a reasonable offer and settle your particular property damage, then their obligation to provide a rental car is extinguished. And so they are allowed to do that, but it doesn't give you much time to go out and find another vehicle, and it puts you in a bind, and I get that. They're technically not in violation, but it is inconvenient, wrong, all the things you can think of, but they can do that, and their obligation ends once they pay you the money for your vehicle. So I tell clients to go ahead and be looking for something, have something set up for when that money does come in so you can get in another vehicle. And it's a shame because a lot of times you got a car that's paid for, it drives fine, you didn't want a car payment, and then next thing you know, your car's worth less than you thought it was, and then now you get this little bit of money and it's hard to get in a similar situation or similar vehicle because of the value of your car, and it's frustrating, it sure is.
We've got Remy on the line with a question or comment from Killen. Hi, Remy. Thanks for calling. What's your question tonight?
Hi, Sharon. Hi, Will.
Hey, Remy.
I got my homeowner's insurance the other day, and it went up $500.
From what to what?
For 1 year.
Right.
The annual coverage.
Okay.
So I contacted them, and also it's got my belongings or personal belongings set at $350,000. I told my wife if we liquidated everything we own, it wouldn't come out to maybe $50,000. You know what I mean?
So they jacked that up on you.
Right. And so anyways, I called up, and they said, well, we raised the value of your house $50,000. And I said, why? I said, the realtor said it's only worth whatever it's worth. You guys have got it up there for almost double that amount. So my question is, can they just raise the value of my house without having any justification for that? And also, they said that was the amount on your belongings is a percentage of what they charge you for your house.
Which makes no sense, right? How do they know what your personal items are worth?
Well, typically what they do is they send you an estimate and they negotiate or talk to you about, okay, your house is worth $100,000, but there's been another estimate, or the area has grown up and we're going to make it 110. Is that good with you? And they check with you to determine how much you want to insure your house on. Now, if there's a mortgage or a lien on it, then they have to insure it for at least that amount to make sure that they are protected. But absent that, usually they negotiate and you agree, and you can determine what your insurance rates will be, or what you'll have to pay based on the value that they're going to have to pay if your house is destroyed. And so you have a hand in that, and so you may want to go back and see if they can reshuffle and provide a basis for their evaluation. And if not, you should have a good shot at getting that put back down. Now, were there any claims on your house? Okay. I mean, and if there's a claim, go ahead.
Yeah, there's no claims, and also this is all dependent on the property increasing by that much, I would think. I mean, what else? They said, well, the building materials have gone up. Well, that would be if the whole house was completely wiped out off the foundation, then I could see that. But in most instances, your house is not completely destroyed, even if it's a fire.
Right. Right. Yeah, I mean, and when you talk about going up, it's like going back behind the Wizard of Oz curtain and figuring out why they do that. And there's a bunch of formulas to why they look at other claims, look at the area. I mean, in Florida and California, it's getting insane.
I bet.
So I will say it's not as bad as there. But again, it makes a difference, and they start going up on your rates without any identifiable or reasonable basis for that. And you're certainly within your rights to ask for that basis, or go and start interviewing other companies.
Yeah, shop around. We got this text in. Somebody says they watch the show frequently. They enjoy it. Thanks very much. Can't explain why they like the law as much as they do. They say, hopefully, we can remain a fan and not a client. Got this email from Jennifer. I'm not sure what to do next in dealing with the adjuster for a bodily injury claim. I've sent the bills, doctor reports, etc., so they have everything they need. I called to confirm that she received the info, and she had. I've called again every few weeks, and she keeps saying it's in progress. I'm documenting every conversation and trying to be patient. But at what point does this become bad faith? They've had everything related to the claim for 2.5 months now, and we don't seem to be any closer to them making the first offer. How long do you wait?
Well, I mean, there's not a real set time. You got to look at the statute of limitations. They're telling us we got 30 seconds, so I'll try and answer your question quick. There's not a set time. You have a statute of limitations that you have to file if it's not claimed within that time frame. Bad faith is almost a figment of our imagination these days. The consumers are getting crushed. The insurance company, let's say it's a claim that's worth $50,000 and they offer you 10. We know that's ridiculous. They're lowballing you, but that's sadly not bad faith in the law in the state of Alabama. because if they have even an arguable or debatable reason, and it can be ridiculous, it saves the insurance companies. And so until we get stronger on the consumer side, they can get away with it all day long and not be in violation of bad faith. And it's ridiculous, it's wrong, and good luck to you. I'm sorry about that.
We'll be right back. If you didn't get your questions answered tonight, here's how to get in touch with Will League with Timberlake League and Brooks. They are personal injury attorneys, so everything from car crashes to medical malpractice and nursing home negligence. 256-536-0770 or 800-804-2502. The website is law-injury.com, and if you like them on Facebook, you can learn more about the law that way.
And Sharon Doviet, family law attorney, child custody, divorce, 539-7337, SharonFamilyLaw.com. And with regard to bad faith, we got cut off on the last question. It's very difficult to prove. Our teeth are being pulled. We don't have much power to get that done.
Thanks for your questions tonight. We'll see you next week.